Well, this is a little awkward. See, Matthew usually does videos in part 1, part 2, and part 3, and that's it. Unless he feels there's something more to talk about, like with Generations or apparently the Golden Compass. So he hasn't yet reached the part of the movie that I was talking about last time, and that leaves basically just two things for me to talk about this time, which are two different characters. Well, technically three are introduced, but he didn't really say anything about Lee Scoresby the aeronaut, except calling him the cowboy, which he's Sam Elliott, so I can't really complain about that. And it's kind of the same as he was portrayed in the book, basically. So that's all I have to say about him. But there are two other characters here that I do have a bit to say about. The first is Serafina Pekkala, the witch. They screwed up this character beyond belief, mainly by condensing almost all of her scenes into that one little bit on the boat, which really does give you the impression that she just comes out of nowhere, dumps all this information in our laps, and then leaves. In the book, that information is spread over several different scenes, which really makes her a much more well-integrated character, and there's also a lot more to her than just dumping that information. But a lot of it does come in the other two movies, and based on how she was portrayed here, I shudder to think of how marginalized she would have been in those. The second is Iorek Byrnison, the Armored Bear. Now, first they showed their disrespect by dumping a guy whose voice was heard in one trailer and sounded perfect, but he wasn't a big name, so they got rid of him and brought in Ian McKellen, and I thought that voice just did not fit the character as I knew him in the books. Despite McKellen doing his best to sound like this big, grumpy, depressed guy who also has this hidden layer of badass to him, he just can't quite pull that off. Magneto in X-Men is the closest he's ever come to it, and even that I thought was just a bit lacking. I know some other people don't think that, but hey, it's my opinion. What are you going to do? Well, I've only seen the movie once, so I don't quite remember how well it conveyed this. My guess is not very well. But when we first meet him, Iorek Byrnison is a completely broken soul. He's lost every single thing in his life that ever mattered to him. And so when he lost his armor, that was just the last pain in his ass that made him not care about anything anymore. And so now all he wants to do is just work and drink some more. Just sinking into this big torpor of depression, if that's the right word. When Lyra shows up, for the first time she can actually give him some kind of hope of regaining everything that he's lost, and so he suddenly just wants to help out again. And it also takes place over a bit longer period of time than in the movie, where she basically just spends a couple minutes talking to him and suddenly he's raring to go. Character development? What's that? So that's where this part of the review leaves off, leaving me not much more to talk about. Hopefully part 4 will be the last one, so I will get to talk about the big line that I teased last time. We'll get you another demon. Still pisses the hell out of me to this day.